Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings, family. I just wanted to speak with you real briefly about a topic, an idea, a concept, and it evolves around essentially our sisters. It evolves around the idea of attraction, of pleasure, of sexiness, of the way we look, the way we dress, right? It won't be long, but I really aim for this message to reach the understanding that I'm aiming at. Sisters, mainly what I want you to think about, for those of us who believe in a God, for those of us who thank God daily, for those of us who pray to God, for those of us who ask God to protect us, to bless us. We even ask God to forgive us for our errors, right? For those of us who believe in a hell and a heaven, for those of us who say that we do desire the pleasure of the Most High, then you are the ones that I'm speaking to. But not only just that, but those of you who believe and say and claim all of that which I just said, and who desire a husband, who desire a husband, who have a husband, who even have a mate that they say they love, that you say you love, that you say you respect, and to have a husband or a man that says he respects you. I want you to understand something that I don't believe that we are really seeing, because Satan has made our evil ways fair seeming to us. He has made it one that is so common that we defend it, that we have become so far away from pleasing, having a desire to please, having a desire that reflects the respect level, the reverence of the Most High, that we fail to see the error in a lot of our ways. So again, for this lady, for this sister, I want you to think about specifically the way you dress. A lot of sisters, I know when I say that, you immediately get turned off, you immediately frown your face up or something like that. But again, I'm talking to sisters who have a certain relationship with the Most High, who desire a certain relationship with the Most High, and sisters who claim they're tired of a certain type of man, and sisters who say they want a husband. I want you to understand that the scripture says, right, that he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Not one who finds a woman that becomes a wife, but one that is already acting, behaving, carrying herself, reflecting all of the attributes and ways of a wife. How does that have anything to do with the way I dress, dear Hassan? Okay. Because there are things that a wife must do, and there are things that a husband must do. And one of those things, when in relation to the dressing, is that we should guard, protect that which is only for that mate. Right? Your body is only for him, right? Your pleasure, your comfort is only for him, right? That's what makes it so valuable. Because if it's for everybody, then it's not really a valuable thing. He really don't have nothing. But if it's just for him, his eyes only, and really vice versa, to be frank, because he too must guard that which is for her pleasure. He's not to be walking around naked and showing his chest and his body and all that. That's the truth. So this just doesn't go in one way, but this message is particularly for you. What is attraction? When you dress a certain way and you say, I'm attractive, what that looks like for you. Do your clothes have to fit tight? Do your clothes have to be revealing? Do your clothes have to show every aspect of your body? Do your clothes have to reveal your chest? Do your clothes have to barely wrap around your bosom? Do your clothes have to show the triangle shape of between your legs, where your thighs, your belly, and your private meet? Do your clothes have to fit in such a way to where it shows the actual shape and crevice of each of your butt cheeks, for lack of any other way to say it? Well, when an individual will see it, he just knows what you look like, or think he knows what you look like outside the clothes. right? But I want you to understand these words: sexy, sexual, and sex. What Satan has done will put us in a position to where what we think is attractive is sexy. Well, let's look at the definition of the word sexy. Sexual, attractive, or exciting, sexually aroused. When I'm looking sexy, I'm also looking sexually attractive, exciting, sexually arousing. The term sexual is relating to the instincts, physiological process, and activities connected with physical attraction or intimate physical contact between two individuals. The definition of sex, chiefly with reference to people, sexual activity, including specifically sexual intercourse. Sexy. Now, the word sex, the reason why I gave you that definition, why? Because to look sexy, it is explained that when you add a Y to the end of any word, that word then becomes an adjective to describe that which follows. Sexy. You look sexy. To look sexy is to look sexually attractive, to excite, to sexually arouse. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that a man is not made to be able to think in his right mind, in his godlike mind, in his upright mind, around a woman whom looks sexy. And I'm talking about the way she's dressed, or if she doesn't even have clothes on at all. Why? Because he's only to feel that way about the woman whom Allah has given him, his wife. But when he's around a woman and she's dressed in a way, she's dressed sexy. The minister tells us that a man isn't even made to think right thought. When he says he's not made a certain way, what he's telling us that the nature of a man is clouding his ability to think mentally, to think intellectually, to think in his higher God self. Why? Because his lower self is being aroused. So why do I say this? Why am I talking about this? Because I know for you, you might say, well, man need to control themselves. Man need to, that ain't my problem. Man need to work on them. Why should I have to change the way I dress because you can't control you? Well, if that's your position and your stance, fine. Can no one make you do nothing you don't want to do. But what I'm trying to appeal to is your understanding, so that you will now know why you get what you get. You see, when you dress a certain way, you attract a man. But you say men aren't sincere, but a man is coming sincere, but his sincerity is coming from a lower place. His sincerity isn't coming from here, even though he may try to be. He may want to be, but he can't come from here because he's being appealed to by his lower self. And one thing that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us, that the nature will override law. That individuals can know what a law may be. They may know what the punishment may be. The law is set in place that if two people commit adultery, they may be stoned to death or they may die. But why would people still be stoned to death and die for committing adultery? It's because when two people underestimate the nature, then they'll find themselves dealing with something that they hadn't bargained for. You may go and think you was just had the upright intent or desire to just go and talk with a friend, right? But this friend is of the opposite sex, and y'all find yourself in a one-on-one situation. Next thing you know, one thing done went to something else, and then afterwards you say, how could I let myself do that? We shouldn't have done that. And it may never happen again. Why? Because you may never put yourself in a position for it to happen again. But if you put yourself in a position for it to happen again, then the odds of it happening again is greater than not. Why? Because the nature cannot be played with. So again, you can ignore, you can take what I'm saying or leave it alone. But if you continue to do what you do, then you will continue to get what you've always gotten. If nothing changes, nothing changes. You see, here's the beauty of what I'm saying. That when you begin to protect yourself and cover yourself and behave yourself like a wife in all of the ways that the Most High has prescribed for you to be, then you too attract not just a man, but you attract a husband, you attract a God. You attract a man at least striving to be a God, but you attract a man that's looking for a wife. But when your advertisement isn't one that's appealing to the mind, but is more so appealing to the lower nature, who can you blame but yourself in the decisions that you make that bring about the results that it brings into your world, into your life? That don't mean that he gets off, but I'm talking about you and your actions, the decisions you make, and what it brings into your life. What is to be attractive for you? What is to be attractive for him? Is it to be sexy? Can I look like this here and still be sexy? Because if I am, it's not my desire or my intent to be sexually arousing nobody. It's my intent to present myself like a well-made man, like a God, so that only a particular kind of woman would find interest in a man that looked like me. So my odds of attracting a woman whom I can appeal to her intellect, to her higher self, is higher than not. So I just want us to really understand and begin to look more deeply into what we have adopted as the norm. I remember before I went to prison, and I stayed gone 14 years, but before I had went, I was 20, 21, finna be 22. No, I was 21 that year. Just made 21. I got out when I was 38, but when I went, I didn't see a lot of men portraying themselves as women, men looking like women, and women liking women. I didn't see a lot of that. Nor did I see a lot of women dancing like strippers, women wearing their hair long to their butt. Because when I left, you knew a woman that was an exotic dancer or a stripper by the way she carried herself, by the way she looked, by the way she dressed. One of those signs was she wore her hair real long. Another one was she wore long nails. Another one, she probably had some exotic high heels on, and the whole combination said a lot. But now today, that look has become the image of what is attractive for women. That look has become what women call attractive. Women are twerking. Women are doing a lot of dancing and all that like strippers. They want to learn the pole dance, they twerking, they dancing on the floor, they doing the cheek movement thing. It's just a lot of stuff that only strippers did at one time, women have adopted. Let me tell you something, Satan is a crafty force. And although that force lies inside of each and every one of us, it's very crafty. It's a natural enemy to man. It is a part of our challenge and evolution back to our original self. We must defeat it. But one of the first steps is first identifying what is and isn't of God. With all that being said, I pray that any truth that was revealed and received, understood, anything that connected with you, is from Allah. I was just a vessel. And anything that I could have said that was incorrect, it was from my own very soul, and I ask forgiveness and pardon. But think about it, and if this message resonates with you, share it to someone else that you think needs to hear this. Peace and blessings.